Redditors who believe you were more than human, vampires, werewolves, XXXKIN, etc. What made you believe? What made you stop believing? And how do you feel about your past? Deleted. This is going to get buried, but I need to write this down somewhere at least. I was a sheltered, isolated kid. I only ever socialized inside of school. I wasn't allowed outdoors until I was around 14 years old. So growing up, my closest friends were my video games and my books. As sad as that sounds, I spent a lot of time daydreaming, and when I entered secondary school I not only had mass culture shock but also realized what I call daydreaming is not what you would call daydreaming. I used to and still do spend up to hours daydreaming about fictional worlds. I'll place myself in a video game or book world and stay there for weeks, sometimes even months, by theorizing what would happen there. I would completely lose track of things like time and where I was. It was like I was literally in another world. These worlds had realistic plots, characters and surroundings. I bonded with these characters more than my family and friends and genuinely believed I was there. When I realized no one else world hops, as I used to call it, I got delusions of grandeur. I believed I was some kind of hero who could travel from world to world. A side effect of being in this world of my own and being isolated from my age group for so long, I had no idea how to socialize, because unlike the characters from my mind, people were much more hating and judging, and I was massively out of the loop. I didn't know popular music or films or fiction. I was used to entertaining myself, and news definitely didn't entertain me either, so I missed out on a lot. Now I realize I'm not anything special, just an outcast sheltered teen without friends or social skills. Worst part, I'll never catch up with society and there's no one to ask for help. At least I still have my mind. There's a lot of stuff I could explain about my daydreams, but it would take way too long if anyone actually cares. Ask away. Squirrel Bandit. I never really identified as something else, but I did not feel human either for a very long time. There was humanity in society, and somewhere outside there was me, a grubby, inferior, feral creature. When I was young enough to believe in fairies, I highly suspected I was a changeling. It all stemmed from growing up in near total isolation, nobody around but my family deep in the woods. I mean, we'd go to town for supplies, but months would pass without me speaking to anyone besides parents or siblings, and I never had friends or really associated with people. What helped? Getting out of the woods and into the world, going to college, working, getting on antidepressants, and going to therapy. It didn't really relent until I actually made friends for the first time, at the age of 26, and realized that people were like me. I'm human now, it's pretty nice. Deleted. I have schizophrenia. As a child, I thought I wasn't human, but a plasma like a fire or a star. As a godlike being, an embodiment of plasma, I was warring with godlike beings of other states of matter. I stopped believing when I slowly came to the realization that perhaps there was something wrong with my mind. I took medication, and I don't believe it anymore. Not really. There are some strange coincidences still, but I try to ignore them. Some things I did were embarrassing, but it felt awesome to jump into a star, and it was fun talking to fires. I'll miss that for a while, I think. Super Simaholic. When I was a kid, like 5/6 sort of age, my mum told me we were mermaids. Obviously, I didn't question it. She did this because my nan had this huge painting of this mermaid couple, and my mum said it was her and my dad, who was absent. She said that he wasn't around because he was still in the sea. I told some older kids one day that I was a mermaid because they were picking on me, and that just gave them more ammo. But I didn't understand. I was quite proud to be a mermaid, and I didn't care if they didn't believe me because it was true, because my mommy said so. I eventually just forgot about it, but I cringe a little when I think about it. But it's also kind of cute, so I'm not bothered. I asked my mum when I was older why she would tell me something like that, and she said she knew our childhood wasn't ideal and she wanted to make it like a fairy tale for a while. Frog curry. Funny. I finally made an account to respond to someone on that documentary that most likely spawned this question. Sorry if there are mistakes, I'm on my phone. I can speak for other people outside of the group I was involved in, but there was definitely a correlation between abuse and believing in something like this. Personally, I had experiences that children shouldn't have, and my emotions were invalidated at home, and I was bullied at school. This led to a massive depression. I began to self-harm to cope. This is important because I think this was the gateway to that life for me. I met a girl. She had the same experiences as me. We were both screwed emotionally. We didn't feel like we belonged nor that anyone understood us, and that's why we were outcasted. When we gave a reason to this, it created a comfort. We were bonded through it. We understood each other and had a place to belong. For once, we had control over something. I don't remember clearly, but we started talking about our cuts and abuse. Then we got on to how the blood mesmerized us. This had more to do with our mind rather than anything supernatural, but we wanted to believe she was a vampire, and she said she could feel that I was a psychic. I didn't feel so worthless when I believed in this with her. More of her friends joined the fold and bam, an entire group of us emerged. I went to a different school though. When her father found out we had sex, I was forbidden from seeing her emails, phone numbers. Everything changed. I found people at my own school. Eventually I realized that the people I had found at my school were making my depression worse. It took a long time, but I finally let them go. College came around and I was alone, but I was finally beginning to find my own identity without letting past abuse define me. It affects me every day, but it no longer controls me. I guess when I felt in control of myself and my life again, the fantasy slipped away.
If anything I missed, or you want to share with us, please comment below. Thanks for watching this video. If you want more video like this, then please subscribe and like.